Mark Edwards, welcome to the business.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks, Catherine.
Can we start with the impact of COVID on the esports sector and its value?
Yeah, and we certainly don't want to think that we've leveraged the impact of the pandemic in the past 12 months, but COVID has certainly accelerated our industry. It was very apparent pretty early that this is a digitally native business, which means we're well and truly set up to target audiences and engage with audiences from their home. And what we saw during COVID was live events were pulled back on, as many different sports and traditional industries, but because of that framework that esports and particularly in gaming actually has, we were able to see a significant flow of audience that were new to the sport as well, or new to the industry.
As we emerge from COVID and those behaviours might revert to what they were, how do you hold on to that new audience?
No, I think as we've evolved through COVID, we've actually introduced a whole new audience to not only esports but gaming in general. And I think the events of the past year have seen that people are more inclined to associate themselves with gaming, and so that moves the avidity of people through from a casual gamer into esports, and it's now become a viable industry where people will sit at home and engage at multiple touch points.
You're the newly installed CEO of Australian Esports Team Order. You just completed a $5.3 million private capital raising. This has been the largest in Australia and New Zealand. I believe you're hoping to diversify operations into the content and lifestyle space, as well as pursue an aggressive growth strategy. Firstly, what does it look like with esports moving into content and lifestyle?
Well, esports is the professional side of gaming, and I think there's a bit of education to do in the Australian market. I think esports has been referred to as anyone who plays computer games, whereas esports is really the professional side of the industry in which we operate. The casual gamer, or the person who might put their kids down on a Tuesday night and then spend 1 or 2 hours playing games, is actually the casual gamer, or that's the gaming audience, if you like, and that's where we see the mass audience appeal coming from. Esports will always remain the authentic play and an important part of our business, but it's the casual gamer and appealing to them, and you do that through content, you do that through influencers. People now look towards influencers or ambassadors. They want to wear what the clothes they wear, they want to eat where they eat, they want to holiday where they holiday, and they want to act and enjoy life like they do. And for us, it's having those influencers and ambassadors linked to gaming and building out that part of our roster. And so what will power growth in the sector? We'll start to look at bringing people across from outside the existing esports industry and improve our capability and our sophistication of delivering engagement to our fans and to our audience. And with that comes increased sponsorship, it comes increased brand deals. We can also monetize through live events, also through online events. Merchandise is still a really big play, and there's a really obvious link to streetwear, which, as we know, is a huge cultural driver at the moment to the fashion industry. And then beyond that, really, you start looking at broadcast rights, and we certainly see a day where esports or gaming really is a pillar of free-to-air TV.
What are the greatest challenges to the esports sector?
I think it's generally the stereotype that has been carried forward. The industry's been around for 5 to 10 years, or 10 years at a global level and 5 years locally. So it's the stereotype that carries with it, but it's also the increased participation is actually going to outstrip the ability to control regulation, and once that regulation and level of sophistication within the sport grows, then we'll overcome. But definitely at the moment, it's the growth is outstripping the ability to build the fundamentals around it. And just finally,
are we likely to see an esports Olympics down the track?
Well, I know the Olympic Committee is looking very seriously at it. The technology revolution that impacts all our lives is something that they would be looking close at. I think as we continue to see them look at different opportunities, it will probably be more in when I say esports, the virtualising or sim side or simulator side of traditional sports.
Mark Edwards, thank you for joining us on The Business.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks, Catherine.